Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. When I was 4, post my 4th birthday, I got my first ever Ramayana.
Have you ever counted how many books you have read?
No.
Up until now?
No. You can ask my dad. I read 24/7 non-stop. And when it comes to public speaking, it was that even if you're not confident, fake it. Shri Krishna loves Radha Rani more than himself. In the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says, I am everywhere. I am the strength of man. I am the taste of water. I am the air. I am the sun. I am the moon. I am the fire. Out of all the Adityas, I am Vishnu. When you're dancing to it, you feel possessed. That's the level of bhakti one can get. I have 2 words for how to describe how the Britishers were with us. Slow poison. My life learning is that be as proud of your culture as you can.
Welcome to the PBT Show podcast. Today's episode is Pure Magic, a Children's Day special that actually celebrates wisdom beyond years. She's only 9, yet she speaks of the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and the mysteries of Dharma with the clarity of a sage and the innocence of a child. She's inspired millions with her voice, her depth, and her devotion to learning. Please welcome Paridhi Mangalampalli, India's youngest Indian culture storyteller and an expert, proving that age is no measure of understanding. Only curiosity is. Let's go and meet Paridhi.
Namaskar. I'm Paridhi and you're watching me on the PBT Show podcast.
Hi Paridhi, welcome to the PBT Show podcast. How
Hi.
are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me here.
How sweet. I want to first of all begin this conversation by wishing you and everyone around the world a happy Children's Day.
I feel great to be here on Children's Day as a child myself, because there is something about the atmosphere, I don't know what, but something about the atmosphere that makes me feel more young.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah, how young? Like you're already 9.
Yes.
So what are you
I feel
feeling?
as if I'm just expressing my past self, whatever stories she has to say, whatever stories she has in her mind, or whatever story she has learned and wants to tell the world. So I just feel like I'm representing her here.
How beautiful is that? Wow. First of all, I am amazed to know from your parents and what I have learned about you that you are also one of the fastest readers when it comes to books. You want to talk about it? How you read your books? How did you develop the habit of reading books?
You see, ever since I was a child, I could say 3, 4, I was reading. My parents used to read books to me. When I was 4, post my 4th birthday, I got my first ever Ramayana. So before that, my mom had secretly hid a Ramayana somewhere, and she was you should know more about Lord Ram. And I was like, who's Lord Ram? So she came and she took out the book and gave it to me, and she was like, read this book, you'll like it. And then a few months later, my dad got me a Mahabharata, and a few months after that, I got a book on Krishna, Lord Krishna, 125 stories on Lord Krishna, and the rest is history.
Nice one. In one of my friends' podcasts, we'll take the name Rodrigo. You mentioned about public speaking. You want to start with that? Because I have so many questions which I want to dive deep with you onto. But before that, how do you get this confidence? Did you do anything to become such a refined speaker?
Firstly, I wasn't that good of a speaker. In fact, until 2nd grade, I hadn't even developed the habit of public speaking. I used to be the person who says answers clearly and nicely, but I never had that thinking, oh, she's a nice speaker. Then in 2nd grade, in my English and Hindi periods, there used to be like thoda free period, we are not doing anything types. So I used to walk up to the teacher and ask if I could give speeches.
Oh, okay.
Mostly they used to be on Indian British history. I forgotten some of them, but I'm going to learn more about that now. Like, I remember there is one YouTuber, I'll take her name. Her name is Kirti History. And I watch her videos. And I watched her videos and I learnt it, and I used to write down. I used to comprehend, I used to write down, and I used to give that speech to my class.
Oh, wow.
So I used to be like, I clearly remember one of my first ever speeches was about Kumaraswamy Mudaliar from watching her videos. Clearly. And I loved speaking on Indian history.
So I have a question. So when you are watching the videos, are you making your notes? How do you go and approach when you are in front of people and you have to deliver a speech?
I don't write down. I most likely would type down, like, because like if I write it on a laptop, I could probably send it to my father's number or to my mother's number to read it afterwards.
Correct.
Because sometimes even I can't understand my own handwriting.
That's a good one. Okay. So it's better to type.
Yes.
Okay.
Because at least I don't need to cut and write again.
Yeah.
I just need to delete, and so I type and I send it either to my mom's or my dad's number.
Correct.
And when it comes to public speaking, it was that even if you're not confident, fake it. Fake it. Like, you're feeling shy, pretend that you're the world's best speaker even if you're not, and just go ahead with it. You don't realize it and you still speak very nicely. And
What tip would you give to a child? Because this podcast is going to be out on Children's Day. We want all the children to be watching you, learning from you. So what is that one tip you want to give to a child who's always like, shy from speaking? When they are in parties also or home gatherings also, they are always shy sitting on a screen. What is it you want to tell them?
firstly, even if you're not confident, fake it. Secondly, energy is what you need in public speaking.
Energy and preparation is what you're saying.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so now let's move on to the most important part. Let's begin taking small steps. I want to know, have you ever counted how many books you have read
No.
up until now?
No. Like, हम लोग का home, beneath the TV, there is a cabinet thing.
Yeah,
One side is the temple.
correct.
The other side is a cupboard full with only and only my books.
Wow.
Only a small basket is kept for trinkets and games and wo sab. Other than that, everything is filled with my books.
And every day you have a reading habit.
Yes. Like, you can ask my dad. I read 24/7 non-stop. Like, some of my books, I have so many books that I don't even know where to keep them.
Yeah, of course.
My Harry Potter is not in my shelf. It's in a drawer beneath my mom's cupboard.
1 second. Okay, we'll get into those details. So you have started reading Harry Potter also?
I finished
What are the
it.
genre? You finished. Sorry. So what are the genres you like to read? कौन से books पसंद है?
All types. I currently want to get the autobiography or biography or some freedom fighters.
Oh, what interests you in that subject?
Basically, what I feel is that many people today do not know what happened in that 300 to 400 years gap when the fire of our culture was being slowly distinguished. Mughals physically, not all of them, but some of them physically destroyed us. The Britishers are next level. This is what the Britishers did. The Britishers built our trust and then broke it like a twig. I have 2 words for how to describe how the Britishers were with us. Slow poison.
Very deep.
So, imagine if you were drop by drop just dropping mud in a glass of water.
Yeah.
एक साथ तो पूरा काला नहीं हो जाएगा.
Correct.
You will you put drop after drop after drop, and eventually after so long, it becomes so dirty, it's impossible to even clean it.
Correct. So what is the learning here? Ki you have to be vigilant when things are happening. What is your life learning here with whatever you are saying?
Not that you have to be vigilant. My life learning is that be as proud of your culture as you can. Because
Very nice.
those people, they lost their lives in a land that was choking them so that we could breathe in a land with free air.
How beautiful. What is it that you understand about presence of God? Up until now, whatever you have read. Your interpretation. This is Paridhi's show, huh?
Okay, if I told you ki God is in that lamp,
Okay.
at first glance you wouldn't believe me. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says, I am everywhere. I am the strength of man. I am the taste of water. I am the air. I am the sun. I am the moon. I am the fire. Out of all the Adityas, I am Vishnu. I think that's what he said. Out of all the Devas, I am Indra. And so he tells us, even if it's not directly, he tells us, I am everywhere. Even this may sound funny, even in your coaster, I'm there.
So to a 5-year-old, like you are 9 now, if a 5 or 6-year-old is watching and they know nothing about the presence of God, how will you explain it to them?
Okay. Sometimes kids get curious and they ask us, not me, nobody has asked me yet, but I've just learned this. I don't remember where. I've just learned this. But people ask that what is the point of offering God prasadam if he doesn't even eat it?
Correct.
Okay. If you have a book and you're reading it, do the words automatically come off?
No.
Same logic here. God is eating it, but in a spiritual way. And speaking of offerings, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati, which means patram, leaf, pushpam, flower, phalam, fruit, and toyam, water. So he's saying these 4 things you can offer me. But does that mean that he's only restricting us to patram, pushpam, phalam and toyam? No. The next line of the verse, yo me bhaktya prayachati. Whatever you're giving him, even if you're giving him a strand of hair, if you give it to him with love and devotion, he'll take it happily. But if you're even offering him the Kohinoor without any devotion, he won't accept it. He would not be excited to accept it.
So now, this is a good conversation. We are getting on to where we want to head. I have removed some words that I think I want to understand from you because now you're very learned, you've read so many books. So I think you can give more information about these words. And please feel free to add some stories. अगर कोई कहानी याद आती है उसको बताने के लिए तो feel free. As per you, what is consciousness?
Consciousness is the feeling that you're alert and aware, often spiritually. For me, I'll give the full form of one of my most favorite temple branches, you could say. And in their full form name, they literally have consciousness in it.
Okay.
ISKCON. The full form is International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Correct.
For me, I'm not superb Krishna consciousness. Like, I'm still on the path. But if I end up Krishna conscious, I have 2 people to put the credit. One is ISKCON, the other is Krishna. So these 2 people are the only reason I am Krishna conscious. That's it. And consciousness also means, in a literal way, to be awake. Like, आई एम
हाँ.
कॉन्शियस, मैं बेहोश नहीं हुई हूँ.
हाँ. अवेक वाली जो स्थिति होती है, जो स्टेटस होता है अवेक होने का, उसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Like you and me are awake right now. How is it different from being consciously awake and this?
टू बी कॉन्शियसली अवेक होता है कि आप अवेयर हो कि आपकी चारों ओर श्री कृष्ण है. फॉर मी, बट इट कुड बी एज पर योर इष्ट देवता,
Yeah.
but for me it's Krishna. For Narayan, you could say, because I had gone with my younger brother, my uncle, and my father to see Mahavatar Narsimha 3D in the theater.
Yeah, very good movie.
And I watched it, and the level of bhakti that was coming inside me, and I watched it at home with my friends also. I've watched it like 4 times by now. I love it so much. Watched it with my friends. We were dancing, literally dancing. Only one of my friends watched the entire movie. The both of us were dancing. Like वो एक part आता है, spoiler alert for those who haven't watched. एक part आता है जहाँ पे वो गाना बजता है, वो नरसिम्हा एंटर्स, रौरव नरसिम्हा करके गाना. When you're dancing to it, you feel possessed. That's the level of bhakti one can get. Like we were dancing like crazy. हम लोग पागल हो गए थे नाचते नाचते. The next morning I woke up with a sore neck, but let's cut that part out. But otherwise there's a huge devotion that comes in me when I think of the word consciousness.
Very nicely explained. When you feel devoted, how it makes you feel from within? When you feel that you're full of devotion and you're feeling good, वो feeling क्या होती है? Happiness होती है? क्या होती है वो feeling?
Quoting प्रहलाद, हाँ मैं पागल हूँ लेकिन मैं नारायण की भक्ति में पागल हूँ. So that is the one line that I felt described Narayan Bhakti in its entirety. Correct. Like you love him, but you're mad for him. That's the level of love. Speaking of love, one of the other YouTubers I watch a lot is Shri Gaurang Darshan Das Prabhuji. And one of his videos, he is explaining how a little fun quarrel happens between Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So Krishna compliments Radharani saying that you're as beautiful as the moon. But playfully, Srimati Radharani gets mad. Oh, so the moon has so many spots. I have spots on my face. And also the moon is only fully in its beauty for once a month. Correct. In the other days, it's fading and increasing. So does my beauty fade and increase? Good point. And thus she got angry and Sri Krishna had to pacify her. So I see there used to be a lot of loving quarrels between them in Gokul Vrindavan.
तो क्या आंसर किया फिर कृष्णा ने? पूरा करते हैं स्टोरी?
So Krishna had just pacified her as far as I know. And he had been like, Shantaja, I'm not... Because, you know, and I'll tell you one more story. In Golok of Vrindavan, not Gokul. Golok. That is different. Gokul is different. I think. I'm not sure either. So, Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna go approach a tree. Srimati Radharani says, "Oh tree, can you please give me some fruits?" Now Golok is a spiritual place. So the trees also have the ability कि कोई पूछता है तो they can bend down and give the fruits. But behind Radharani, Shri Krishna is like, don't give. Okay. So who should the tree follow? The tree thinks for some time, then bends down to give Radharani the fruit. And it turns out he made Shri Krishna more pleased. Because Shri Krishna loves Radharani more than himself.
That's selfless love. Are we trying to explain that?
Yes.
How beautiful. Paridi, which is your favorite story of Radharani? Any other favorite, your top favorite story?
It's not a story, it's more like a thing. Another one from Gaurang Darshan Das Prabhuji. It is that when all of her friends, her sakhis, had come, they were all playing in the king's palace. only Srimati Radharani had taken a murti of Krishna, and she was garlanding it, doing puja for it, feeding it. And that tells us that Srimati Radharani is a more Krishna conscious than all of us in this room combined. Like 10,000 times more. Our level of Krishna conscious is just a drop compared to that expanse of an ocean of like Krishna consciousness Srimati Radharani has. Also, you know, before we ever gain the approval or the love of Shri Krishna, we have to gain the approval or love of Srimati Radharani. Because if we appease her, she will go and tell Krishna that, oh look, this Bhakta loves you a lot. So then Shri Krishna will come and he will bless us.
Oh, that is how the approval of bhakti works, is it? Yeah, nice. Why is it your favorite story?
It tells me that no matter how Krishna conscious I am, I will have to bow. No, I have to bow down anyways to Srimati Radharani. And like उनका लेवल का कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस आई डोंट थिंक कोई भी इस धरती पे हो सकता है.
आपका अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या है धरती का, यूनिवर्स क्या होता है, व्हाई आर यू एंड आई अलाइव, व्हाई ह्यूमन बीइंग्स कम, ये पढ़ा है कहीं किसी किताब में?
See, everything happens because the Supreme Parabrahman says it to be. The Supreme Parabrahman could be Shiva, Vishnu, and according to me, how I think the universe started, Narayana was lying Ananta Shesha पे, and then उनके नाभि से एक लोटस निकला. From that lotus emerged Brahma. ब्रह्मा ने विश्व बनाया. Brahma made the 4 Sanat Kumaras. I forgot their names because all of them have so similar names. It's really difficult to remember.
That's okay.
But the Sanat Kumaras were like, we don't want to continue creation. Please excuse us. But they also asked a boon कि हम लोग को हमेशा बच्चे के जैसे ही दिखाना, हम लोग को बड़े मत होने देना.
अच्छा.
They're over centuries old, but they look younger, like as young as me. And they're also really big Krishna Bhakts or Vishnu Bhakts, by the way. Then he makes Narad. No. He meets Rudra.
Okay. You mean Shiva?
Yeah. And he asks him, ki make me some people. So Rudra was like, okay. But the only problem was that Rudra was making immortals. So after 11 immortals, Brahma realized what was happening and asked him to stop. Then he met Narad Muni. Narad Muni also declined कि मुझे नहीं बनाना है. So he cursed Narad Muni. May you always be wandering and never have a home. So Narad Muni got shocked and cursed him back. May you desire someone who you should not.
Okay.
Now a curse is a curse. So he makes Manu, who are called Manavas, Manu. And he makes Brahmi. Now he sees Brahmi, his own creation, and he's infatuated by her. So he starts chasing her all around the world. And Brahmi changes her form. A a horse, like a mare. So he became a stallion. She became a doe, he became a stag. ऐसे करते करते she took over 100 forms. So her name became Shatarupa. 100. At last, Lord Shiva got mad. So he walked up to her. By the way, I forgot to mention this, that when she had come to take pranam, before this entire chase incident happened, Brahmi had come to take pranam. And she noticed how Brahma was staring at her. So she moved to his right. Brahma ka udhar sir aaya. She moved to his left. Brahma ka udhar sir aaya. She moved behind him. Brahma ka udhar sir aaya. She moved ahead, above him. Brahma ka udhar bhi sir aa gaya. At last, she started running and he started chasing her. So Lord Shiva got really mad. So he literally tore off one of Brahma's heads. his top one.
Okay.
That's why we see him with 4 heads.
Yes. Yeah.
And
You mean the 5th one is knocked out?
yes.
Okay.
So he like tore out the 5th head and he forgave Brahma, but there was a feeling in his left arm. By the way, he had torn it out from his left arm only. And he realized that Brahma's skull hadn't gone off his hand.
Oh.
So he's pushing hard, but it's not working. So they're saying, go to Kashi, the Devas, the Rishis, and take a dip there.
Okay.
Because he had also committed Brahma Hatya, which means the killing of a Brahmin. So he took a dip in Kashi and the skull fell off. Also, one of the reasons why Shiva is a protector of Kashi.
Yeah. You've been to Kashi ever?
No. I want to though.
Yeah, you should go. Now let's move on to, this was a very interesting story, I believe. Wow.
There are 2 more theories on how the universe was made.
Uh-huh.
One was ki Damru se Om ka awaaz nikla and the universe started.
Okay.
Then there is the Tandava theory. That the Big Bang thing happened because Shivji did his Tandavam. Another theory is there was a egg, sort of like a womb, Hiranyagarbha, golden. And that exploded and the entire universe started from that. So there are many theories. But all of them somehow or the other, most of them, let's hope, connect with the Big Bang theory.
Correct. So there the science comes into the picture.
Yes.
What is your view on science and spirituality?
See, spirituality is something different, religion is something different, and science is something different, obviously. Science is the kya bolte hain? Something that works with proof.
Correct.
Proof hai, proof hai, proof hai. Scientific.
Huh.
So, religion on the other hand is the belief in a God.
Yeah.
Always a God. Okay?
Correct.
Like Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Rama, Krishna, whoever. Spirituality, religion can often lead to spirituality, but spirituality is separately also something. The belief that there is a higher being that is not necessarily always God. It could be your own soul.
Yeah.
It could be birds, planets, animals, plants,
Yeah.
etc.
वापस लेके आएंगे.
Universe, etc. It could be belief that that's controlling you. Also, religion leads eventually to spirituality, but spirituality doesn't necessarily lead to religion.
Yeah.
So yes, and also religion, spirituality and science often do go hand in hand.
Oh, you want to throw some light on that? How? Any example?
You see, there are footprints. I forgot the place name. Like there's a huge footprint. Like I think 10, 15 plus people could fit, probably even 1,000 people could fit in there in that one footprint. And there's a tiny footprint. Like that's so tiny. It is said that those footprints are those of Hanuman.
You mean with archaeological proof, if something is there?
Yeah,
that
it's
is
probably of Hanuman's. Then there's a pond that is said to be made entirely out of Ma Sita's tears. And then the most common example, Dwarka.
So there is archaeological proof of Dwarka being there, right? So
I like Dwarka.
You've been to Dwarka?
No, I haven't. But I like the fact that there is proof. It all happened. And also one of the things that made me really angry was that theory. What was it called? Aryan invasion theory.
Okay.
Because the theory was, I'll explain this briefly because it's connected to the Sindhu Saraswati Sabhyata, which is Indus Valley civilization.
Yeah.
So when the Europeans saw we had such a rich culture, they were like, how can the brown man have something like that?
Oh.
The white man is always have to be superior. That's what they thought. So I think his name was F. Max Muller.
Max Muller. Okay. Yeah.
So he invented this theory. He's German. Max Muller is German. So he made this theory that everything that the Indians have is like from Europe. So the theory goes, Indus Valley civilization ended, and these people called the Aryans and entered in India.
Yeah.
They chased the people down south, and with them they brought Vedas, Sanskrit. But this theory isn't true. DNA proof, everything has been there. Also, there is also another theory, I forgot the name. It is the complete opposite. That जो भी हमारा है, it gave to the world.
Correct.
The complete opposite of whatever is Aryan invasion theory.
Correct.
And if this theory turns out to be true, I would be so happy, so proud. Like, it's a blessing to be born in India.
Absolutely.
So
Vedic culture, Sabhyata, everything that comes, even yoga, everything is originated actually from
even
Sanskrit
zero.
and India, and our culture is so rich. That's what fascinates you, right?
Like, we people say that it's because of the West we have computers. Actually, it's indirectly because of India.
Yeah.
You know that bit byte thing, that 010101 that leads to the computer? Zero is needed. And zero was invented in India.
Correct.
So अगर zero बनता ही नहीं तो computer बनता कैसे? So that's one thing I love about India, that everything that we have today, phones, computers, TVs,
technology,
it's all because of India only.
I agree with that. The origin is here, the minds are here.
Yes.
तो अभी हम लोग अपने favorite topic पे जाएं, भगवत गीता,
Yes.
है ना?
Yes.
इसमें the whole world is waiting for us to talk about it. Are you excited?
Yes.
We are moving into the right, absolutely your favorite topic. So, Paridhi, what is the issue is Bhagavad Gita is available to everyone. But people, now 18 chapters, hai na? But what happens is, for people to understand is one thing, and for them to implement the learnings of Bhagavad Gita in their life is another thing. So, what I want to achieve with you is कि हम एक questioning mode रखेंगे, जैसे अर्जुना ने questions किए थे, ठीक है? And then Krishna went and gave knowledge. तो उस तरीके का हम करते जाएंगे, and आप उसमें knowledge, stories, whatever you feel like, you have to express, क्योंकि you have read so many books, right? Is it interesting?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Sort of like a rapid fire.
हाँ, लेकिन आप आराम से मुझे पूरा नॉलेज दे सकते हो, नो प्रॉब्लम, जो आपके जितने बच्चे और बड़ों को भी समझ में आ जाए. ठीक है? Excited? So, in this, see, the Bhagavad Gita starts with, before we embark onto Bhagavad Gita, is there any mantra that you want to recite, which you were talking about?
It's not related to Bhagavad Gita, but it's about Narayan.
To begin something nice.
Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jwalantam Sarvadomukham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityum Namamyaham.
Beautiful. You want to explain the meaning of this mantra?
Yes. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu. O Lord, you are fearsome and terrible. You are truly Mahavishnu. Jwalantam Sarvadomukham. Your fiery faces are everywhere. Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram. You are the auspicious and the fearsome Narasimha.
Yeah.
Mrityum Namamyaham. I bow down to you, the death of death itself.
So empowering. How do you start your day? Do you start your day with some mantras?
I started with the legendary MS Subbulakshmi ji's Vishnu Sahasranamam.
Oh, wow.
Like, the first thing I do, I wake up, I get ready, I sit down. Even if I'm half sleepy, I'll be like,
start.
Play. And then I'll be like, Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum. And I say it loudly. Like 3940 ki my dad's soundproof studio, usme bhi sunai deta hai.
So you are like...
Yes. And my mom is bathing and she's like, Awaaz kam kar.
So you recite Vishnu Sahasranam every day in the morning.
Yes.
Wow, that is a blessing. If a child has to start some mantra jap, and why they should, you want to explain that? कि mantra क्यों बोलने चाहिए? क्या होता है उससे?
Because you get peace. Peace not only from the entire mantra but from the first word itself.
Oh.
Om. Om शुरू करते ही the entire atmosphere just bows down to you. It's like कि positivity फैल जाता है. There are multiple meanings. A is Brahma, U is Vishnu, and is Mahesh. Even the symbol has meaning.
Yeah.
The lower curve is that states thingy wala meaning hai, and I forgot it, so I'll explain it in one of my upcoming videos. Spoiler alert, upcoming videos. So
Perfect.
So then Om ka aisa symbolic meaning hai. Then even applying Chandanam has a symbolic meaning. It cools down your mind and helps you calm.
Why do you think everybody needs to be looking at peace and calm so much in life?
Because the world is in a rush. Everything has to be on time.
Yeah.
I'm saying so myself because this is embarrassing, but I'm a late student at school.
Okay.
Like if the timing, for example, the timing is I have to reach by 7:45 maximum.
Yeah.
I'll be there by 7:50.
Okay.
Like I'll be late and I'll miss almost like half of the period. Like 15 minutes are gone, 10 minutes are gone, and I'm there, and then some random kid in the class is going, Miss Paridhi is here.
And then you are embarrassed.
Like, why did you have to scream that, Darsh? Why?
So, peace and calm is important.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Like, you didn't need to announce my name like that. I'm not winning the Nobel Prize.
You shall one day for sure. Okay. चलो भगवद गीता अब हमने मंत्र रेसाइटेशन भी कर लिया है. तो ये जो डिफिकल्ट मंत्रास होते हैं, अभी कोई आपको एक छोटू बेबी सुन रहा है 5 year 6 year old, ओके, उनको शुरुआत में कौन सा मंत्र बोलना चाहिए? ओम इज गुड.
Om.
What have you learnt?
This is one of the simplest mantras. You can go with Om Namah Shivaya, which mostly every kid knows. Om Namo Narayanaya. Then Om Ganganapatiye Namo Namaha is not a bad option either.
Yeah.
Like any of the gods, but go for the shorter ones.
Yeah.
Because the larger the mantra is, it's more difficult to comprehend and pronounce.
Correct. So start your day with a nice mantra and start with peace and calm. That's a good learning for all big guys also, not just kids. Great. So now let's start with the quintessential Bhagavad Gita that we want to discuss. It starts with Arjun ka Vishad Yog. Uski kya story hai? Why Arjun was so sad, and what do you think that he could have done differently? Why he was so upset to, go ahead, and what do you think? What's the story?
You see, he was not scared. He was before the war. It was Arjun who was the most enthusiastic to fight. And no one, including Arjun himself, would have expected that he would fall in such a dilemma. Arjun his Gandiva fell from his hand. His entire body was trembling. His hair was standing on end. And his entire body, let's just say, gave up. Like, मुझे नहीं लड़ना है, मुझे इधर से भागना है. That was the mode that turned on in his body. And do you know why? Because all the people he saw in front of him, childhood playmates, gurus, people who had taken care of him when his parents weren't there. And he just couldn't bear, especially Bhishma. And not Dronacharya that much. He had known later in his life, but he was equally sorrowful for everyone. And something I would say to him, I wouldn't say anything extra like do this, do that. I would just go ahead and say, Shri Krishna jo bol rahe wo karo.
Easy.
Yes.
रुकावट के लिए खेद है. अगर आपको हमारा कंटेंट और कॉन्वर्सेशंस अच्छे लग रहे हैं तो प्लीज लाइक, सब्सक्राइब एंड शेयर करिए अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स और फ्रेंड्स के साथ. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग. तो डू यू थिंक भगवत गीता इसलिए बनाई गई है कि उसमें जो श्री कृष्ण ने बोला है सबको वही करना चाहिए?
It is a lesson for all of humanity. Like I had been asked a question. Why did Krishna only tell like the Bhagavad Gita? He could have said ki it's a good thing, go fight. He didn't necessarily need to put such a lecture of probably like 1 hour, 3 hours long. But he did so because this is a lesson for all of humanity. All of humanity has to listen to it. नहीं तो फिर he could have said like go fight. It's a good war.
Simple. One line.
Yes, go fight. 2 शब्द हो गया. He could have even scolded Arjun, but he didn't. He just told him the entire Bhagavad Gita because it's a lesson for all of humanity.
So let's learn with you. So first chapter is your Vichad Yoga, and that's why Shri Krishna wanted the whole humanity to have a manual. So he recited Bhagavad Gita, is what we are saying. Then from here it moves to, which is the favorite part of Bhagavad Gita that you like, and then I will move to the question that I have. Out of all the 18 chapters.
Chapter 11, Vision of the Cosmic Form.
Oh, 1 minute, रुक जाते हैं. उसके पहले कवर करते हैं. Okay, so Karma Yoga. See, in Karma Yoga, it is action without expectation. So the question that I have is, what does doing your duty without expecting results really mean? What is it that Krishna was trying to say? If we are doing something we expect, we will get something out of it.
See, taking some inspiration from Gayatri Shivaraya ma'am's thing on manifestation, but I'm not talking about manifestation here. You see, Karma Yoga is talking about multiple karmas, okay? There are 3 types of karma.
Okay.
Sanchita karma, which means जो भी आपका past life का कर्म है, that has pushed you here. Then prarabdha karma or prarabdha, which is the karma that was incomplete in your past life, or the thing that you are destined to do in this life of your past life only.
So you mean carry forward type? Okay.
And then there is kriyamana karma, which is the karma you are building today. Okay. And what is selfless karma? It means, for example, I'm helping someone. Let's say I'm helping someone on the street, someone poor. If I give them something, or I help someone in general, let's just say, and if I help them, I should erase the word fruits entirely from my mind.
While I'm doing this?
Yes.
While I'm...
Yeah. Like fruits का एक ही मीनिंग आना चाहिए दिमाग में.
क्या?
एप्पल बनाना, कैंटेलोप, ड्रैगन फ्रूट, उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं. नो रिजल्ट वाला फ्रूट, ओनली द खाने वाला फ्रूट.
बट हम लोग कुछ भी करते हैं तो पहले वही सोचते हैं ना, ये करके क्या होगा, ये करके क्या होगा.
ऑल्सो इफ व्हेन यू आर डूइंग समथिंग, थिंक दैट यू आर डूइंग इट बिकॉज यू वांट टू डू इट फॉर द गॉड. Like you are doing it, for example, you are dancing. You're dancing in Seva of the Lord. And I have a story, another one from Gauranga Darshan Das Prabhuji.
Please.
So a journalist or a person who interviewed people, he walked up to 3 temple workers. He asked the first person, what are you doing? Said, we are building the temple.
Okay.
So the first man को उन्होंने पूछा कि why are you building the temple? So the first man said, because I am getting money. He walked up to the second man. The second man also replied, I am building a temple. And when he asked the second man, why are you building? He said, because I like building.
Okay.
Architecture is something I enjoy.
Correct.
He walked up to the third man. The third man said, I am building the temple because I want to be in service of the Lord. So that, like the third guy, we should all be.
That's what Krishna said.
Yes, you should not, like, you should do everything in दान to Shri Krishna. कि मैं ये कर रही हूँ, ये मैं आपके लिए कर रही हूँ, मैं ये कर रही हूँ, मैं आपके लिए कर रही हूँ.
हाँ.
Even if you're doing something simple like bathing or going to the washroom, say like, I'm doing this for Krishna.
So simple.
Everything in the world.
Yeah.
Even this podcast, let's say I'm doing it for Krishna.
I'm also doing it for Krishna. Wow, nice, nice. This is being done in the service of Krishna, right? Okay. Now, what happens when we think like this? So, there is no expectation. We are not expecting any return. That is what Krishna is trying to say, that when you do it for the service of God, why? Because, what do you think? Because when we are doing it for something, we are expecting, and when we don't get it, then the peace goes.
Yes.
Is it the idea?
Yes. Like, I'll narrate a story. There were two twin brothers.
Okay.
One was named Madhav and the other was named Raghav. So both of these brothers, Madhav was the younger one, by the way. And Madhav was a very peaceful person.
Okay.
He did not expect anything in return and he loved Krishna.
Okay.
But Raghav, on the other hand, he hated everyone. He always wanted something for himself. And he used to hang around with people who were really lazy. And sort of like bad people, let's just say.
Got it.
So, one day, both Madhav and Raghav went on two different journeys. Both were being tested by God. Both walked up to a tree which was filled with dirty and painful branches.
Okay.
Both the trees said, "Oh, Madhav/Raghav, please come help me." Madhav immediately climbed the tree and began taking out carefully, as to not hurt the tree, the painful parts of the branches. The tree thanked him and Madhav kept on walking. But Raghav declined. "Was I the one who gave you these painful branches?" He sneered and he walked away. Next, both of them approached a vineyard. The vineyard said, "Oh, please clean me." Madhav cleaned and he walked. And Raghav, he again said, "Why should I clean you?" And he walked. Then both met an oven, mud oven. The mud oven said, "Oh, please make me nice and pretty again." Madhav put mud on his hands and began sculpting the oven again.
Yeah.
But Raghav just ignored the mud oven and walked away. Both met a dog. And the dog asked, "Ki, please help me. My leg is injured." Raghav was like, "Was I the one who gave you that splinter?"
Yes.
And he just kicked the dog and he walked away. But Madhav, he gently held the dog's hand and pulled out the splinter. Then both met a river. This is the last one, by the way. Both met the river. The river was clogged and dirty and dusty and polluted. The river asked, "Oh, please help me. I'm so clogged. Can you please clean?" Madhav said, "Okay." And he cleaned up until the river could breathe freely again. But Raghav was like, "Why should I help you? Do your own dirty work." And he walked away. When they were returning from the journey, both saw a dhoti in the river. It was a nice, fancy, clean, royal blue dhoti. I mean, Madhav saw a yellow one, the other one saw a royal blue one. So Raghav went ahead and tried to snatch it.
Yeah.
But the river was like, "Why should I give you this? Go away." And he splashed huge amounts of water on Raghav. But the river said to Madhav, "Madhav, take this dhoti. I made it especially for you." The dog led Madhav to a place filled with diamonds and told Madhav, "Take some." But when Raghav asked the dog to give him some diamonds, the dog bit Raghav and chased him away.
Yeah.
Then they approached the mud oven. The mud oven cooked a tasty paratha because we're Indian, paratha for Madhav. But when Raghav tried to get his paratha, The Madhavan just burned him, and while he was hopping and howling, a crow took the paratha away.
So he didn't get anything.
Yes. Then they walked up to the vineyard. The vineyard said, take some juice to Madhav. But when Raghav approached, he just hit him with one of the, branches. And the last and the funniest was the tree. Madhav asked some fruits from the tree, and the tree bent down to give him some fruits. So Madhav walked home happily.
Yeah.
And as Raghav tried to snatch and hurt the tree to get the fruits, the tree just bent and rose higher and higher, and then bent down and then pulled back. And then bent down and pulled back. So this is the story of why you should always be selfless.
Wow.
And when I think of karma,
Yeah.
I think of it as a boomerang with karma carved on it. Like whatever you throw comes back to you.
But very interesting. Don't you think a lot of people think that some people actually get into this state where they start with good karmas, they consistently do it, and then they start, your first point you said, they start expecting that I have done good, and they are waiting. Oh, no good is coming to me. There is no boomerang effect. And then they start becoming bitter because they feel that they are the only one who are being nice. Other people are not nice to them.
Like this.
ऐसा होता है?
कभी-कभी होता है.
हाँ.
But you should just remember that don't expect results. He has better plans for you.
Oh, wow. So intelligent.
And when you become a Krishna Bhakt, you start seeing miracles in everything.
Yes, you said it. That's the key takeaway. Dhyana yoga, meditation and focus.
See, the point of Dhyana yoga, he could have just said ki ek kaam rahe, and he could have just said but also I think this question might have come in your mind. It is that why did Krishna tell only Arjun the Gita?
Yeah.
He could have just told him be calm and fight. Or he could have told someone else the Gita, someone who was more worthy, like Yudhishthir. Firstly, he and Arjun are eternally together in the form of Nar Narayan. Nar being Arjun and Narayan being Krishna. Otherwise Krishna would have simply said that bhag ja, mujhe kya karna hai, mat lad. I don't have anything to get. मुझे कोई पैसा तो नहीं मिलने वाला है अगर तो भागेगा नहीं. But he also stopped him for the sake of righteousness. Also, it is also divine play that many people can't understand. And Krishna tells us to be calm, coming back to the topic, because he wants us to know that he's always protecting us. And he tells us to be calm because I am taking care of you. I'm not going to let you be hurt. So, whatever, if someone hurts you, bad karma would come to them. So, always be calm. Be cool. And to maintain that calmness, take a step back. Not literally like a step back.
Got it.
Deep breath. And just think of your favorite god or person if you're not religious. And that, I feel, is the trick to becoming calm.
Very nicely explained. Excellent. I think this should really help a lot of people. Vibhuti yoga, us pe badhe?
Yes.
So I'll put a question here. Have you ever felt sometime and something divine in every moment? You just explained it, In Bhakti and Vibhuti mein, we have to always look for divinity.
So, Vibhuti yoga is like something you can experience only if you are a true Bhakt. If you are a true Bhakt, you start seeing Krishna, you start seeing miracles in everything. Like, I danced well today. That's a miracle. That's because Krishna was in me. I ate nice food. That's because Krishna was in the food. So, this is what Krishna says, I am the taste of water. So, I can think of him when I am drinking water. Krishna says, I am the light of the sun. I think of him when I'm like looking at the sun or in the sunlight, Krishna says, I am this entire world combined. I am the mother, I am the father, I am the son, I am the daughter, I am the grandfather, the great grandfather of everyone.
So in Bhagavad Gita, why do you think that God has to do, like, fight, kill your own relatives? Why he has to do this drama?
For the sake of righteousness.
What is that?
You see, before this birth of Krishna also, Bhumi Mata had come to Brahma in the form of a cow.
Okay.
Please help me, there are a lot of evil on my planet, on me. I need to be rid of this. So Brahma was like, I can't help you, that let's go to Narayan. So Brahma, all the demigods and the mother Bhumi in the form of a cow, they all went. Narayana said, I will come in the form of Shri Krishna, and my Ananta Shesha will come in the form of Sankarshana, which is another name of Balram. Also, fun reason why Balram is the older brother. In the Treta Yuga, Lakshmana had playfully told Rama, brother, I feel like you never listen to me. Is that because I'm the younger brother? Maybe in our next life, I should be the older
Exchange.
brother. So Ram was like, okay, but remember, you will still be listening to me only. And that's sort of true. That is true. Exchange se yaad hai. Talking about how God came to earth, let's also talk about his goddess, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
So, in the kya bolte hain, Treta Yuga, he was born as Ram Suryavanshi, and Devi was born as Lakshmi Chandravanshi, or found as Lakshmi Chandravanshi. Sita Chandravanshi. And in Dwapar Yuga, Radharani is Radha Suryavanshi and Shri Krishna is Chandravanshi.
Okay.
So this is exchange.
Yeah. Quite interesting.
Exchange offer.
Exchange offer. Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga. My favorite yoga.
In day-to-day life, what does devotion and bhakti mean to you? For anybody to understand easily.
Lifeline. Like, it's the lifeline of our culture. You know, like, I know my friends, some of them come to Bharatanatyam with me, some of them go to separate ones, Bharatanatyam classes. But all of us, as far as we can, even if we're speaking in Bombay version, we speak in Hindi.
Let's speak in Hindi. Okay, yeah.
I mean, मेरा हिंदी बहुत अजीब है.
बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन हम सबका बम्बैया हिंदी है ना.
And मेरा हिंदी ऐसे हुआ है.
मेरी हिंदी ऐसी है.
मेरी हिंदी ऐसी है क्योंकि मैं आदो के साथ रहती हूँ. My godfather, my dad's business partner, and we both speak the same way. Like if you locked us in a room, it's almost like if two gods or two divine people are talking, and we'll be like 10 साल बाद आए, ये अभी तक बात कर रहे. And I feel like bhakti is the lifeline of this culture. This culture that went through so much for a span of 200, 250 to 300 years. Like, the Mughals were like, pani dala, but the British was like, hut. So they broke our culture completely. That made me laugh. They broke our culture completely. To the point that our culture is barely in the ocean today. It's drowning, you could say. The fire of our culture, उसपे drops गिरे थे पानी के by the other invaders. The Britishers threw an entire river full of water. As I mentioned in the start of the podcast, slow poison. Yeah,
actually. But now I think with you, such young kids understanding culture, you promoting it, like telling everyone, this should help, right? A lot of
Yes.
children are going to take inspiration from what you're speaking.
I'll tell you one of the most heartbreaking examples of how
Yeah.
our culture was broken.
Yeah.
In 1193 CE, by Bakhtiyar Khilji, a Turkish invader,
Yeah.
Nalanda, the
Bihar.
library of Nalanda,
Huh.
it was huge, 9 million scripts plus, okay, over 9 million scripts. It was set on fire.
Oh. Okay. You read it somewhere?
Yes. So the fire kept on burning. This is the most heartbreaking part.
Yeah.
The fire kept on burning for months and months. Like, if we ever rebuild Nalanda now, मैं सबसे पहले जाऊंगी उधर.
मैं भी चलूंगी साथ में.
And
But how do you think we can rebuild Nalanda now? क्या करना पड़ेगा उसके लिए?
we have to write that many scripts first.
Yes. You
Yes.
think in your life you're going to be doing that sometime? Do you meditate? Have you started like?
Yes, I have started. Although even for me it's a little difficult because let's be honest, I'm a kid. I can get hungry quite easily. So
Yeah.
like I can do a maximum 15 minutes meditation. Yes.
Wow. That is also not
With
bad.
my mind getting distracted in between. I'm getting better. Honestly, to tell you, I've been told you should meditate and I am trying my best at it. My sister, like, she's not my real sister, but I like to call her that because she's my mom's student.
Okay.
She's my sister though, for me. She's my behan. Currently, she's going to Germany and she's a yoga teacher.
Okay.
Entire family's in the arts.
Yes.
So she's a yoga teacher and she's going to Germany for university. Her name is Srishti Chandrakar.
Okay.
And like whenever I feel मुझे थोड़ा और flexibility चाहिए or I need to be calm, I'll be like play her video and I'll be like following it. Even if I have the tendency to break my nose by falling down. But whatever.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Whatever.
The kid just kicked in right now in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like and that where were we? Bhakti yoga. Also, since our culture is waning, I feel like bhakti, the devotion to God, is the heartbeat that is like tuk 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 tuk, like that. So if it stops, you could say India just lost itself.
But that is how we will preserve now. With awareness.
With
Right?
kids.
With kids,
With
awareness.
kids.
Absolutely. This generation has to now start
Yes.
understanding what is Bhakti Yoga, what is Bhagavad Gita.
But I want to save that for the end.
Yes. So अभी आगे बढ़ते हैं अपने भगवद गीता में. How do you notice when you are calm, restless or lazy? ये कैसे मालूम चलता है? Kids कितने restless हैं? They are constantly on digital screens.
Like I can tell myself I am a bit impatient. Like I've texted my friends at I do text my friends. I have a group chat with them also.
Okay.
So I've texted my friends like good morning at 9:43 and 10 बज गया and I'll be like अभी तक मैसेज क्यों नहीं आया इन लोग का?
They must be busy. They are not in
Yes.
front of the phone. They are away.
Or maybe they're still fast asleep.
Yeah, could be possible on a Sunday. Why not?
And the funniest thing is that the same thing happens with me also. I often message from my dad's actually, not my mom's, laptop. Because my mom is taking her classes and she needs the phone to be with her.
Correct.
So I'm practicing and WhatsApp me, ting! And I'm like, ouch, that was loud. And I press it. Yes, I do often get restless if I don't get a reply quick. But this also represents the 3 gunas.
Let's talk about it.
Tamas, the lowest, Rajas, beach ka, and Sattva, highest. Also, there is a state above all of these, which is you can gain by immense and pure bhakti.
What is that state?
I don't know if it has a name, but you can attain that state and you can attain Krishna also. The simplest way to attain Krishna is by believing in him.
तो गुना पे वापस आते हैं. 3 गुण में क्या हुआ?
So tamas is ignorance, leprosy, laziness, sleepiness, all the bad qualities, let's just say. Rajas is beach ka, passion, anger, and then sattva is the peace, devoted, calm. So all of that is the 3 gunas. All of them have their different ways of doing things.
Correct.
Sattva eats food that is good, nutritious and tasty. Rajas eats foods with extra flavors, spicy, tangy.
Sauce.
And then Sattva eats food that is bland, disgusting, bad for the body. Let's just skip the food part. Then the Sattva does rituals without any expectation in return, at the right time, to the right people. Rajas is beach ka. Tamas doesn't care what they're doing.
They are selfish. Maybe.
Tamas is just like जो भी सामने मिला वो फेंक दिया रिचुअल के लिए.
अच्छा.
That's the kind. Let's just say that's the kind of what tamas is.
यहाँ से senses पे कैसे जाएं? ये समझने के बाद 5 senses.
The 5 senses. Sattva में the 5 senses are constantly at joy. Be joy. Joy, calm, controlled. Rajas mein they're passionate, joyful also.
They want to achieve things.
They're expressive. And tamas is like kya? So that, let's just say that you have a sleepy guy, a passionate guy, and a calm guy inside you. Let's just say that.
Yes. And how do we activate when we want this a type of a personality to get activated? भगवत गीता में कुछ सिखाया है इसके बारे में?
You just have to be bhakti, and you have to control your emotions. Not saying that you have to be like. You have to.
No poker face, but.
You don't have to get over happy or over sad. Let's just say that. Equanimity. Tasmad yogaya yujyasva yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjayah siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This is one. And the buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. So these are 2 things. One, the buddhi yukta one says that yoga is excellence in action. And the samatvam yoga uchyate says that equanimity. That is not being too happy in success, not being too sad in failure is true yoga.
Very nice. So, anything else in Bhagavad Gita that in this short podcast you want to communicate to the world? Anything else that you think that you want to give to the world?
The 11th chapter of the
Let's
Bhagavad
talk
Gita.
about it.
So, his mouths
Krishna's.
His mouths were eating up everybody. Yadus, Kurus, Pandavas, everyone. And when Arjuna asked him, why are you doing that? He said, because they're already dead. You're just a mere instrument in my hands to kill them. They're already gone. They're already dead. His body was huge. All the gods beside him. Weapons that were dazzling, and his body, it was just terrifying. Arjuna was fascinated and terrified. Happy and terrified. So that's like, you can only show him so far in a painting or a drawing. And that's saying something, because even in normal human Krishna paintings, people can't accurately get his beauty.
Yes.
So what to speak of his Vishwarupam? Oh my God. Like when I read that, मुझे बिना कुछ बोले, बिना कुछ दिखे goosebumps आ गए थे.
Yeah.
Like I'm brushing my goosebumps now. Not just my hair.
Yeah. Good one. Okay, wow. And last chapter तक पहुंचे हैं हम लोग अभी?
No.
No. we are still there.
Yes.
So I think हमारा next podcast भी होना चाहिए once you finish your all chapters, right?
Yes.
So these are viewers' choice questions where whenever you have spoken publicly and on various podcasts, there are people who really want you to answer with your knowledge of what you have read. ठीक है? तो वो थोड़े से questions हम पूछेंगे. People want to know from you, what is the true purpose of Bhagavad Gita? What Paridhi thinks?
To give this, I'll give this in a one line because I think that one line can explain.
Yes.
To give the supreme knowledge to the world.
Wow, very nice. How should a beginner, especially a child, start reading it?
Start, even if you're an adult, start with the kids version.
Very good idea.
Because even I started with the kids version, then I got
Graduated.
authentic. Like that.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Why did Krishna choose Arjuna and not someone else to reveal the Gita? You answered it already.
Yes. So it's because Sri Krishna, they are eternally together. Pointer 1. Pointer 2 is because it's a righteous war. He has to fight in. Thirdly, उनको ये भी prove करना था to the entire world that there is a more supreme knowledge than the supreme knowledge I have already given you.
Oh.
It's like divine play, you could say. Otherwise, Krishna could have said, भाग जा युद्ध से, मैं क्या करूँ, मुझे पैसा मिलने वाला है क्या? Krishna could have said that.
But why do you think बीच-बीच में उनको रणछोड़ भी तो बोला जाता है कृष्णा को? वो क्या strategy था?
Like this strategy was in that I forgot Kalyavan. I think his name was Kalyavan. So this guy can't be killed by any Yadava.
Correct.
So he didn't run from the battlefield. He just changed the battlefield. Let's just assume because he's the Supreme Lord, he made Kalyavan chase him to a cave.
A point, हाँ. Yeah,
a cave जिसके अंदर
हाँ.
एक king लेटे हैं.
हाँ.
He's a Suryavanshi, by the way, not a Yadav.
हाँ.
He's sleeping there because of a boon from the gods. He's always fought to help the gods and he wanted to attain moksha. But the gods were like, only Vishnu can give you that. We can only give you eternal sleep.
Okay.
So he's like, okay.
So he's sleeping.
So he's sleeping inside the cave with a blessing that whoever wakes him up, he'll burn him down to ashes. So Krishna takes his yellow robes and he puts it on that king. And he hides. Now the Kalyavan comes in and he kicks that king. His name was Muchikanda, by the way. I think that's how you pronounce it. He kicks the king awake. The king wakes up and burns him down to ashes. But when he looks at Krishna, he can't burn him down. So he realizes this is Krishna. Krishna gives him supreme knowledge and then gives him moksha.
Wow. What does do your duty without attachment truly mean? You have addressed this also. एक line में छोटा सा कुछ?
It means that just erase the word fruits unless if it's apple, pear from your mind. And then, like, how do I explain? Then do everything you're doing in the service of the Lord.
Wow, Paridhi. Is the Gita still relevant in today's digital world?
Yes, 1,000 times yes. In fact, it is more relevant in today's world than पिछले world में.
क्यों?
All of us are in such a rush. All of us expect something. All of us are attached. So just from all of that, we can understand that the Gita is very relevant today.
Perfect. Love the answer. What's the difference between knowledge, action and devotion in the Gita?
Knowledge,
action and devotion.
Knowledge in the Gita itself is knowledge for the first thing. And knowledge doesn't just mean A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. It also means that you have to understand it will hurt you and you have to sehn it. Action.
Wisdom.
Action, clearly, it's something in the Gita that is like working, doing something and not wanting anything in return. And devotion, the word itself just explains. Krishna Bhakti. कि कृष्ण के पैर पे पड़ो, आप बच गए.
Wow. How can children understand concepts like the soul or self? Short में. Do they need to understand?
Imagine that you are eating a sandwich.
हाँ.
सैंडविच के ऐसे ऐसे लेयर में ब्रेड है.
हाँ.
फिर सब्जी आती है, फिर चीज़ आता है.
हाँ.
लाइक चीज़ और सब्जी आती है, और फिर लास्ट में बीच में पैटी आती है. राइट?
हाँ.
When you eat a burger.
Yeah.
So that thing, the body, the bread is the outer body. The sabzi and cheese are the organs, the intestines.
ठीक है.
And the patty is your soul. Wow. And we also do this sometimes कि हम लोग bread और सब्जी पूरा साइड करके पैटी खाते हैं.
I've done that.
We also do that. So think of that as if you're just attaining the self. Let's just say that.
How can the Gita help when someone feels stressed or pressured in school?
So in the Gita, it is said that don't be equal, have equanimity, which is one thing. Another thing is that just read the Gita. Like, I don't need to explain because once you read the Gita, you realize कि हर एक पन्ने पे कुछ ना कुछ लेसन तो होता ही है. Even if it's a question you understand, हाँ यार ये भी अच्छा question है. So it's like that.
तो दिमाग खुलता है ना. Kids गीता तो पढ़ना ही चाहिए, बड़ों को भी और छोटों को भी. Wow. So the last one. If you had to summarize the entire Gita, whatever you have up until now understood, in one sentence for all children, what would you say, Paridhi?
Supreme knowledge.
Supreme knowledge.
Or Hare Krishna.
Hare Vah. Hare Krishna. So Paridhi, thank you so much to end this podcast and this conversation. I loved talking to you. I actually want to talk to you for another 3 hours, but I know you're going to get a little hungry now. The last thing that I just want you to leave a message for our audiences is, what would be your one message for parents, because it is Children's Day? And what would be your one message for children? Children of not just India, but global children.
So, for the kids, I have this lesson that for 250-300 years, we were put through a constant struggle. If you don't believe me, still don't believe me, I'll tell you one story about Bhagat Singh. Even it puts me to tears also sometimes. When Bhagat Singh was 22, 23, he and his friends, 3 of his friends, they threw a fake bomb in a British meeting area, let's just say. And then they ran away, but they intended to be caught. उनको पकड़ना, they wanted कि हम लोग को पकड़ ले ये लोग. Then when they were sent to court, Bhagat Singh spoke so loudly and so proudly about our India, our Indian culture. And even saying the word India makes me feel a bit weird. I would prefer if I say Bharat.
Yes.
And he was sent to prison and he was executed, hanged. All the way till the area they were hanged, he was singing loudly. I think he was singing Mohe Do Rang De Basanti. And he sang and he smiled, all of his friends and him, and he laughed until they were hanged, and until they died, they were smiling.
So the message to the children is to know about our history, our culture.
And that our culture is so divine.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Kantara or Mahavatar Narsimha, go and watch it, because it's the truth. Even if it's a bit bloody, let's say, it is the truth. How our deep and how divine our culture is. Yes. Like, I haven't seen Kantara the movie, but my parents showed me the climax scene, and that enough made me feel so proud. Like, Guliga, I've made 2 videos about Panjuli and Guliga. Go watch them too if you want. And for the parents, please get books or movies for your kids that speak about Indian culture.
Yes.
That's my only message. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Faridhi.
No, thank you for inviting me. This was a really nice
Absolutely.
podcast.
My pleasure. I'm in awe of you. I think I really, really love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the PBT Show podcast. I am your host, Poonam Vijay Thakkar. On this show, I bring to you conversations with leading authors and top leaders who energize the mind, challenge the norms, and awaken our purpose. It's all about conscious growth with one powerful book and one powerful story at a time.